It seems as though the smile on Craig Mish's face is a little bit wider on this Tuesday morning. Our MLB insider and the host of Newswire, which starts at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, joins us here on the early line. Craig, let's just call a spade, right? You've been a little bit skeptical of the New York Yankees reaching the ultimate mountaintop of MLB this season, and now down in an 0-3 hole. You seem to have been correct. We will get your assessment on this fall classic and what, if anything, lies ahead after game number 4, if there even is a game 5 here on this Tuesday on the early line. We appreciate your time.
Of course. And look, I, for one, would always prefer a long series, regardless of who wins or loses. But I don't think there's any question that it's extremely doubtful that we're going to get a long one here in the World Series.
Yeah, it really is, based on track record, history, and, of course, the Dodgers holding a 3-0 series advantage. Could this be the last time that we round every single base during the MLB season? If it is, it was fun. It's time for the Daily Bases.
Craig!
There it is. Got to involve Joe Lisi one last time if it is, in fact, the final time. Craig, let's go back to Game 3. The Dodgers win 4-2. Freddie Freeman, yet again, the hero, a 2-run home run in the top of the first. Walker Buehler has been absolute nails since the second inning of Game 3 of the NLDS against San Diego. He has pitched 12 innings of shutout baseball. But, Craig, with what you saw in Game 3, was it indicative? Did it represent what you thought could be the key differences here in this World Series between LA and New York?
Yeah, I give the Yankees a lot of credit. All season long, I thought they were, pretty fraudulent. A couple of really good pitchers, couple of really good hitters. Made the Jazz trade to sort of ignite the clubhouse, which it did for a while. But if you watch the Yankees this season, what you're seeing right now is indicative of what we saw at least twice, probably 3 times. And by the way, last year too, where there were these pockets of times where they just really struggled to score runs. I guess the only difference is that when that happened, Judge was hitting at that time, and I think it's exacerbated now because he's not hitting and it's happening too. Judge hit all season long. So what's happened now is you're seeing what happened in early April and then in June and then in July, and then now it's happening again, where they've just been an all-or-nothing team offensively. There were some signs of this against Cleveland. Remember, Cleveland was probably the least opportunistic team to play against them in the postseason. They had the bases loaded several times, 1 out. Yankees kept getting out. If you play those games over and over, I think Cleveland has a better result. But I give the Yankees credit for getting this far. I think it's a flawed team, Ben. And in order to change things up, they're going to have to add some offensive pieces this offseason to avoid this all-or-nothing result.
Craig, I gotta ask you, because I find people are still scratching their head. How could Giancarlo Stanton have been overall if he had stayed healthy throughout his career? Because does this shock you at all? Like, he is the best hitter that the Yankees have right now. Him and Soto, without them, forget it. This is where they wouldn't even gotten here. But why does he, in your opinion, show up in October when other guys can't for some reason?
Yeah, I mean, look, Joe, it's a fair point to ask, but I think it's a really easy question that you're asking me to answer, which is he is just like a lot of other players with that. I mean, maybe there aren't exactly like that body type, Joe, but the best example that I could give you is, and again, steroids aside, you can ask me if Jose Canseco wasn't on steroids and wasn't hurt like 80% of the time for the last 10 years of his career, what would he be? Players like this with that big body type, Joe, the legs just go, man. Like, they go a few years in. And after Stanton won the MVP and he got traded from the Marlins to the Yankees, it was a really steep decline. He's always had that power. He continues to have that power, but you saw last night, can't even run really anymore from third to home. So I think that through history, Eric Davis is another great name. He played for the Reds for a long time. Once the legs start to go and those big muscular body types start to fail, it's over quickly. They have a really short shelf life, most of them. Stanton is really an outlier, Joe, to be honest with you. Like, he's had probably better a career than I thought he was going to have, especially if you look back the last few years with all the injuries.
has been clutch in this postseason, no doubt, for the Yankees when they have been devoid of much offense outside of Giancarlo and Juan Soto. So, Craig, game number 4 is tonight. The Dodgers are a slight money line underdog against the Yankees. No starter named or opener named just yet. For LA, on the other side, it will be Luis Gil getting the start for New York. You look at game 4, you look at the series odds overall. It's probably not a question of if, rather just when. Do the Dodgers sweep the Yankees in the 2024 World Series, or will we at least see a 5th game?
I don't think so. I think it ends tonight. I think that in sports in general, there's, always the saying, if you're not sure, just let the trend be your friend. And the trend is the Yankees aren't hitting. The Dodgers are. Doesn't matter who the Dodgers pitch. They're getting the Yankees out. Bullpen guy, Buehler, Gratterall, doesn't matter. If the Yankees were to wake up tonight, Ben, as an example, and score 6 runs, I could see a path to getting to 6 games. But what have you seen in the first 3 games beyond game 1 with Nestor Cortez needing an out? What have you seen from the Yankees that leads you to believe that all of a sudden tonight is going to be the night? I don't see it. So I think it does end. And again, great season for the Yankees too. I have absolutely nothing negative to say. It's just at some point they're going to have to get, it's not that they need more players like Jazz. Like, I'm not saying that, but more players to get on base. And when the big home run hitters don't hit, score some runs otherwise. They just don't have a lot of those guys.
So, Craig, when it goes final, we'll celebrate the Dodgers. But I just want to ask this as a quick follow-up. If it is an embarrassment in the World Series, and certainly on track for that, there will be some in the Bronx looking for something new. Will there be changes to the Yankees organization this offseason?
I don't think so. I think that you celebrate winning a pennant and getting to the World Series. You've seen changes with a lot of the teams that did not qualify for the World Series across the board. But me personally, I say no. I say the Yankees run it back.
And then the Juan Soto sweepstakes begin this winter. Craig Mish, we appreciate it. We'll have more of the early lineup next. Game number 4 of the World Series tonight in the Bronx. Can the Yankees stave off elimination, avoiding a sweep, and force at least a Game 5? Or will the Dodgers win championship number 8 in its franchise history with a clean sweep of the Yankees in only 4 games in the 2024 World Series? Here are where the odds stand at this moment. The Yankees, a home favorite tonight inside Yankee Stadium. Luis Gil gets the start for New York. Still TBD for the Dodgers. We expect an opener. We'll dive into the potential names in just a second. 8.5 is the total. Based on regulation, Joe, all 3 of our games have stayed under this number. It was Freddie Freeman's walk-off grand slam in the home half of the 10th on Friday night in game number 1. That pushed us to the over of 8.5. But, Joe, it's a very simple question, really. Will the Yankees get swept or avoid the sweep tonight in game number 4?
I don't know, but it feels to me like, forget the side, it feels like the total is the way to go in this game here. But they've scored 7 runs, the Yankees, in these 3 games, right? The Dodgers have only scored 14, and 4 of those came on, you mentioned it, the Freeman grand slam there in the extra inning. So it's not like with all the studs and firepower we got in these lineups, that's not a whole lot of runs here, Ben, at all. And we're still hovering around, 8.5? And if you're figuring the Yankees are not going to figure it out tonight against the bullpen because they haven't figured it out in the first 3 games, then how in the world are we getting 9 runs in this game? The Yankees, it's going to be all hands on deck regardless, because this is the series. So they're in must win. It just feels like the under, no matter what, is going to be the way to go. Because even if the Yankees are to win, they're going to have to hold the Dodgers lineup and keep these guys off the base pass. And they're going to have to limit the runs here regardless. So I think the under is the way to look in this one.
Yeah, and listen, it will be a bullpen game for the Dodgers. We have seen them do that various times in this postseason. in pretty critical moments. Of course, you first look at what they did in game number 4 in San Diego against the Padres, when everybody thought, this Dodgers team is in danger of getting bounced in the DS once again for the third time in the last 6 years by San Diego. Dave Roberts turns to Ryan Brazier to open things up. He uses 8 arms, and the Dodgers, of course, blank the Padres, win game 4, win game 5, and now here we are into the World Series with LA just 1 win away from its 8th ever World Series championship. Of course, there is the sweeping precedent here in the World Series. This will be the 23rd time in a best-of-7 World Series a team has taken a 3-0 series advantage. In the prior 22 3-0 series leads in the Fall Classic, 19 have ended in a sweep. Only 3 have even reached a 5th game. Never have we gone past game number 5. In fact, the last time even a 3-0 series lead happened that extended to a 5th game, the 1970 World Series. 9 times since, it's been a clean sweep. Have the Yankees ever been swept in the World Series? Yes, 3 times, way back in 1922, 1963 against these Dodgers, and 76 against the Cincinnati Reds. So we're not entirely sure yet, Joe, who is going to open the game for the Dodgers. Michael Kopech was in there at the end of game number 3, gave up the 2-run shot to Alex Verdugo in the home half of the 9th. Ryan Brazier threw a full inning. He has often been the guy to open for LA. We do know who is starting for New York. It's the rookie in a very significant spot, trying to keep his club's season alive. That is Luis, our guy. Don't call him you-know-what. Heel on the hill tonight inside Yankee Stadium. Joe, he did start game number 4 of the ALCS against the Guardians. Was fine. 4 innings of work, only 3 base knocks, 2 earned runs. What can we expect out of Heel in the biggest spot of his young career tonight against Los Angeles?
But, you mentioned that start against the Guardians, Ben. That's his only start since September 28th. So he's
Correct.
pitched once in a month. And that is not great. He's only got really 3 pitches here. And we have a Dodgers team that is not chasing anything. They're walking a ton in this series. They're not striking out, unlike the Yankees, who have struck out 31 times in this 3-game series here. The Dodgers, not so much. They're going to take a ton of pitches here. They're going to make this kid work, and that would be what scares me the most. So I don't know what his walks prop is, but I guarantee you Louis Hill probably going over his walk prop here tonight, given the fact that the Dodgers are not going to chase bad pitches and make his life easy. So I would expect maybe a few more walks than usual here for the rookie.
Yeah, so I don't see a walk prop out on FanDuel, just the strikeout prop, of course, for Luis Heel. Part of that could be because the Dodgers have not named their starter, their opener tonight, so FanDuel hasn't released all of that. Not even an outs prop yet for Luis Heel in this game. He is walk prone. You saw some of the numbers that he had made throughout his rookie season. In the opening game of his playoff career against the Guardians in Game 4, he did register 3 walks. That was really the issue, Joe, last night for Clark Schmidt. He walked 4. Yep. He only gave up 2 base knocks, but he allowed 3 earned runs. Part of that was the 2-run shot to the 3rd batter of the game, Freddie Freeman, who has now hit a home run in 5 consecutive World Series games, all 3 here in the 2024 Fall Classic, the final 2 of the 2021 World Series as an Atlanta Brave against the Houston Astros. So, Joe, let's look at the offensive side of the scope for this game. The Dodgers have really been pretty solid throughout the entirety of this postseason, 1 through 9. And 1's a little bit banged up. That's Shohei Ohtani. Mookie Betts has been consistent. Freddie Freeman has been the main spark plug. Tommy Edman has been good. Mookie Betts and Kike Hernandez both in RBI last night. In regulation, if you were to tell most Yankees fans that in the opening 3 games of this World Series, the Yanks have only allowed 10 runs, you'd be like, all right, pretty cool. It's just the Yankees haven't done much offensively on the other side. Let's start with the Dodgers, Joe. Who is the biggest key offensively once again if LA is going to win a World Series in a clean sweep in game number 4 tonight?
Well, you're going to have to figure out ways to keep the top half of that order off the base, because the bottom half of that order for the Dodgers, Ben, has come through with some big hits at big moments in this series so far. So they can't make a difference if they don't get on base. So I do think you got to stop letting Freeman beat you at some point in this series. You got to stop that. I don't think Ohtani, well, we know he's not 100%, and those swings he took last night were not great at all. So I don't think he's going to be as big a factor. I do think it's going to be the guys in the bottom half of this order. Don't put them in a spot to get singles and drive in runs. Make sure that the top half of the order sits down here tonight and is not running on the bases, which means you better not be giving them free passes, which I think maybe would be a huge ask out of this staff for the Yankees.
Shohei Ohtani is just 1 for 11 in this World Series with 2 runs scored and 1 extra base hit. He has drawn 2 walks. He's been pretty disciplined, only 3 strikeouts. But again, it's not like this is the otherworldly NL MVP winning Shohei Ohtani that is now banged up. It's really been everybody else. It's been Freddie Freeman. It's been Mookie Betts. Kike Hernandez has continued to put up prolific production in the postseason. Tommy Edman had a home run in game number 2. He was the NLCS MVP. And there is no doubt, Joe, one of the best advantages for the Dodgers throughout this postseason, certainly here in the World Series against New York, has been that depth. Because the Yankees ain't got it. Not even close. So outside of Soto and Stanton, will somebody step up? Will a Judge rise tonight with the Yankees season on the line? We'll talk about it next. Game number 4. Will the World Series end in a sweep, or might we even see a 5th game in the Bronx tomorrow? Joe, tonight in game number 4, we talked about it. Luis Gil gets the start for the Yankees. We expect an opener and a bullpen game for the Dodgers. Who exactly that first pitcher on the mound tonight in the Bronx is going to be has not been listed by Dave Roberts as of yet. Again, we'll remind you of the history of a team holding a 3-0 series lead in the World Series in the very, 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 very uphill battle the Yankees have to climb to even see a 5th game, Joe, let alone a 6th game, which has never happened in the history of the World Series when a team has been down 0-3. But if they're going to start to climb up the hill, they need their best players to perform in a big way. Giancarlo Stanton has done that. Juan Soto, pretty darn good as well. Aaron Judge has been absolutely awful. He is 1 of 12 here in this World Series. He has 7 strikeouts. Aaron Judge in this postseason is 6 of 43. That's a 140 batting average. He has 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. All of that offensive production coming in the first 3 games. That's it of the ALCS against the Guardians. And yet, Joe, the odds makers give Aaron Judge the most likely chance to hit one over the wall tonight. It's plus 250. I'm not going to ask you if it's worth cashing that ticket. What I will ask you is this. What do the Yankees finally need out of Aaron Judge if they're going to stave off elimination and avoid the sweep tonight in Game 4?
It was funny. We were just talking. I said the best thing to happen tonight for the Yankees is Aaron Judge gets up there in the first inning and breaks a bat and bloops a single over the first baseman's head. He's got to get some confidence. He's got to be able to breathe here. And the only way he's going to be able to breathe and at home is getting a hit. It doesn't need to be a home run. It doesn't need to be a mammoth show. He just needs a hit. And the longer it takes for him to get that, the worse it's going to get for him, because mentally, I think it's starting to wear on him. We're talking about a dude with over 250 postseason at bats. He's barely hitting $150. I mean, it's embarrassing on so many levels for him. And they're on the verge of being swept. So any sort of hit, I think, in the first inning will give Judge credit. Don't expect a home run. Do not expect a home run.
He looks lost, man. Flaherty had his number big time in Game 1. I'm like, oh, boy, this could be tough. And he has not shown any sort of resilience here in either Game 2 or 3. Stanton has been that guy for New York, 6 playoff home runs, all 6 coming in clutch moments in the 6th inning or later. Last night, it was Alex Verdugo delivering a 2-run shot to bring even a sliver of life and optimism to Yankee Stadium. Of course, we know Freddie Freeman's price to hit a home run tonight, something he has done in 5 consecutive World Series games, including all 3. And somehow, Joe, it's 6-1. I would think it'd be a little bit shorter on Freddie Freeman. Not saying he's going to make it 4 in a row here in the World Series with a long ball, but I thought the odds makers would have adjusted ever so slightly.
The only 2 guys, you would think, but the only 2 guys I would even look at from a Yankee perspective would be Soto and Stanton, with both those guys having the short porches and an opportunity. It's the only guys we can trust to put the bat on the ball here in any way, shape, or form. I don't think Ohtani's shoulder is good enough one way or the other. But, the one guy that maybe we have not heard from here is maybe Mookie Betts. We're not giving him enough credit here to be able to park one at a pretty good price.
An RBI last night for the Dodgers that extended the lead early. Kike Hernandez, the only guy for L.A. that had multiple base knocks last night. The Dodgers had just 5 hits. The Yankees had the same amount of base hits. The Dodgers actually stranded a ton more offense in the 3rd and 4th innings. Yeah, we'll remember Giancarlo Stanton barely rounding 3rd and getting housed at home. But still, the Dodgers had Gavin Lux do the same on a bunt from Tommy Edman that quickly went home, and he was ruled out on a play at the plate. Nestor Cortez came in the inning later, got out of a jam. The Dodgers actually left a ton more offense out there in game number 3, but they will not be complaining as LA holds a 3-0 series advantage. Here is where the odds makers have adjusted the price on Freddie Freeman. Joe, he's going to win World Series MVP, and absolutely deservingly so, because he's minus 1,900. Minus 1,900 right now. You can take a flyer on Stanton or Soto if you think the Yankees pull off the improbable, something we have only seen once ever in the history of MLB, best of 7 series, and the Yankees know that all too well, I guess. Maybe you could take a flyer on another Dodger, perhaps, if this gets extended to 6 or 7, and the Dodgers still end up on the winning end. Don't see that happening. And here is why I do not see that happening, Joe. Again, this is the 23rd time in a best of 7 World Series one team has held a 3-0 series advantage. In the previous 22, 19 have ended in a sweep. Only 3 have even ever made it to a 5th game. Never have we seen a team hold a 3-0 series advantage and even have to play a 6th, let alone 7th game. So, Joe, it's a question of not if, but when. And I'm really starting to feel like it's tonight. I know the Yankees have the hope. I know the Yankees are the favorites. I don't think there's really anything they do better than LA at this moment. So I'll give the edge to the Dodgers even in a bullpen game.
Listen, the options even for the bullpen are not great for the Dodgers here tonight in a closeout game. But when you're up 3-0, Ben, you give yourself a whole lot of room for error, don't you? And given the fact that we've just not seen any signs of life from anybody not named Soto or Stanton in this lineup, it's very hard to look towards the Yankees. But, it is Yankee Stadium. It is October. This is where legends are made. I can tell you this, if Judge does finally break out tonight, that nobody in New York will remember that he was batting 120 heading into this game, Ben.
Until the end of the World Series, if they do fall in 5. But to Joe's point, we're going to have plenty of time throughout the rest of the week to talk about the overall season outlook in review. The Dodgers expected to win a World Series with everybody they invested in this offseason. They're 1 win away from doing just that. The Yankees fall short, but at least they have won the pennant for the first time in 15 years. We'll talk about the season overall at a later date.